Itamakerela, 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 Come closer, sir. So one thing which I want to say to
Mama Joe. Are South Africa. Israelo Baba. How Israelo Coco Beto. I am a pono. Atela Mapono. Hayali Bala. Bona Atingela. Israelo Baba. Arikong Fula. Atena Kamakerela. Bona Ezane Genzema. Atikong Fula. Makerela Bona Ezane Genzema. Ati South Africa. Israelo I am a polo. I take so long. Makerela Konazo Pumelela Atikong Fula Atena Makerela Konazo Pumelela Atikong Fula
Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Order. Honorable members. I just want to confirm with the people at the back that can we proceed? Is the live stream rolling? Okay, thank you so much, honorable members. I was so touched by the address by the president of the convocation, and we are truly grateful for their presence in this seating. It reminded me of a quote by Charles Dickens, one of my favorite authors, in the novel A Tale of Two Cities, where he specifically says, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was a season of light, it was a season of darkness. It was a spring of hope, it was a winter of despair. And contextualizing that to us, in as much as we have so much to celebrate in regards to the concerted efforts and significant strides achieved by student activists, but there's so much to be frowned upon. I've engaged with a number of you and many other people beyond the parameters of this sitting or parliament. And what actually seems to be protruding from the ground, it's that student activism is under threat. I share the same sentiments because there is every reason to be concerned when the system is used to silence and suppress members of the SRC or just members or student activists in general. So I actually think that it actually takes us to a point whereby we have to have a conversation about the application of Rule 14. How is it applicated? Isn't it supposed to be specifically meant for people where there is prima facie evidence of wrongfulness? Or are we just going to use an umbrella approach in regards to applying Rule 14? I think that's a discussion that this House should initiate by all means necessary. I officially call the House into order, and this sitting is convened in accordance with Section 4.1.2a of the SPD, which clearly states or empowers the Speaker of Parliament to convene all sittings. And just reminding people about the rules, before we get to the debate, there will be the speech by the President in regards to the rules of debate and just how members are supposed to conduct themselves inside the precinct. It's incumbent upon all of us to maintain and uphold the decorum of this House. If any one of us engages in a manner which is disruptive to the specifications of SPD document, then that actually causes a dent or a detriment of some sort to the prescripts of the SPD document. It clearly states on what grounds a member of Parliament can raise a point of order. If you feel that the speaker on the podium or just any person or any member of Parliament engages in a conduct that contravenes the regulations of this House, you have a right to raise a point of order. If there's a member that actually raises incorrect information or misleads the House, you have a right to raise a point of order and provide the factual or correct information in regards to that. But you don't engage in conduct that seeks to denigrate other people. We don't say you are lying. We don't use or make use of such language. You raise a point of order and you provide the information which you think or you feel has actually been stated incorrectly. And in regards to anything else or the contents of this particular sitting, I was waiting for members of Parliament to come to me in accordance with the SPD again, because it clearly states that members can approach the Speaker 15 minutes before the sitting commences and suggest any other matter which should form part of the agenda. All members of Parliament received the agenda on time, I believe. I saw the email from the Secretariat of Parliament, but I haven't been approached by any person suggesting that there's something else which has not been catered for in the agenda, which must actually form part of this particular sitting, the second session. So I'm not going to be taking any points of orders in regards to information or in regards to points which actually do not form part of the second session. If you had a matter which you felt that needed to be addressed by the second session, you should have done so in accordance with the rules. And again, going back to what I spoke about when I was opening, that I am concerned that there hasn't been a member of Parliament who approached me in regards to the matter of Maritzburg campus. Unfortunately, as the Speaker or as the executives of Parliament, we cannot just decide unanimously that, okay, we're going to bring at the end of the day, this House belongs to all of us. So I was waiting and hoping that there'd be a member of Parliament who would actually feel that that specific matter of Maritzburg campus would actually be ventilated in this House. But unfortunately, people haven't taken advantage of the rules, which clearly state that 15 minutes before the sitting, you can approach the Speaker and clearly state that there's a certain matter which you think should be or should find expression in the agenda. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we actually provide oversight over the SRC. I feel that at times we do not take advantage of that oversight role that we're supposed to play as Parliament. And as Parliament, we can only legislate in accordance with the constraints faced by the executive branch of government, of student governance, which is the SRC. If the SRC feels that at a certain point it actually reaches limitations or constraints, we as Parliament, we would then legislate accordingly and remove whatever constraint that is found in the SRC constitution that sort of limits them from performing their duties at the best of their ability. So I just want members of Parliament to always be cautious of the important role that Parliament plays over providing oversight in student governance in general. With that being said, I do not want to waste more time because I know that we started late and we are running out of time. I want to call upon stage the president of the SRC, who happens to be the head not just of the executive branch of student governance, but he is the head of student governance as a whole. I want to call him up on stage to address the House. But before I do so, I would encourage all members of Parliament who actually have their gadgets with them to share the link of the live stream to their respective constituents or WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups, if possible. Yeah. But in the course of the address by the President, I would encourage members to listen attentively, because in your respective caucuses, your responsibility is to ensure that you take notes, and then you'd provide whomever you chose to debate on behalf of your caucus. You'd give the person the notes that you had made in the course of the address by the President. Because again, I'm going to interject when a person raises a matter which does not form part of the speech of the President. The debate is only limited to the speech of the President. So I would urge all members of Parliament to adhere strictly to that. Mr. President, over to you. Order, honorable member. Order, honorable member. Order, honorable member. No, no, no. Thank you.
Anti yini socialism ma onke zandleni zava akuna muntu ongaphathi umhlaba ngaye awuyini socialism ma onke zandleni zabantu akunamuntu ngaphathi umhlaba ngaye hawu ayesabama bu yonxiwa ngoba befuna na usetshenzelwanga bayesababo babakwala unxiwa ngoba befuna usetshenzelwanga awuyini socialism ma mhlaba wonke zandleni zabantu akunamutho amuto ngaphathi umhlaba ngaye awuyini socialism ma onke zandleni zabantu akunamuntu amuntu ngaphathi umhlaba hawu ayesabama kwa unxiwa ngoba befuna ngobe akusetshenzelwa ngamandla awethu. His Majesty King Misuzulu Sinqobile Hlome sakhe isihlangu kaZwelithini Zulu, His Excellency Mr. President Cyril Ramaphosa, Her Worship Premier of KwaZulu Natal Mam Nomusa Dube Ncube, the game changer, Chair of Council Dr. Letitia Moja, the Vice Chancellor and Principal Professor Nana Pugu, members of the Executive Management Committee, The President of the Convocation Executive, Dr. Qiniso Mlita, present. Members of the Convocation Executive, Mr. Kawazela, ukhona ngaphansi kwethu. Speaker of the UKZN Student Parliament, Honorable Bathandwa Mki. The Deputy Speaker, Honorable Simpiwe Xulu. Secretary of Parliament, Honorable Sandisiwe Ngumalo. The UKZN SRC Deputy President, Mr. Lungani Shays. The UKZN SRC Secretary General, Mr. Spelele Matonda. All members of the Student Representative Council, all substructures of the SRC, leaders of clubs and societies present, all honorable members of the Student Parliament of UKZN, all protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Malusi Chikichela Machongosi Michael Zuma, and I am the president of the SRC of the University of KwaZulu Natal. Allow me to present before you a brief report on the state of student governance in the University of KwaZulu Natal. The report is delivered on behalf of all members of the Student Representative Council of the University of KwaZulu Natal, and its contents briefly outline and deliberate on the key critical matters which reflect on the state of the student governance in the University of KwaZulu Natal, with a focus on some of the issues which were discussed in the political report by the President of the SRC in the first sitting of the Student Parliament on the 29th of June 2022, as well as the key issues which were identified in the second semester of 2022. Honorable members, as I deliver this report, I take into consideration that we are in the month of the year where we celebrate and commemorate our women of this country. Thomas Sankara once said, and I quote, "Comrades, there is no true social revolution without the liberation of women." I unquote. Indeed, honorable members, the revolution and the current struggle cannot be defined without the existence of a woman. The heroic women of 1956 proved to the world that in the period where there are difficult circumstances of multiple societal ills, oppression, inequalities, class struggles and class antagonism, poverty and rising unemployment rate in the country, it is natural and sacrosanct to draw on the collective resilience, courage and bravery of each other to build hope, strengthen and achieve freedom. It is therefore such a great honor that in this month we pay tribute to women who are the bedrock of our communities, university, families, through their multiplicity roles they play on a daily basis as academics, students, leaders of this country, mothers, caregivers, protectors, etc., etc. With that being said, honorable members, I would like to take this opportunity and wish you all, the prestigious women, a happy Women's Month. It is definitely amazing to see the beautiful faces and smiles of our honorable female members of the Student Parliament of the University of KwaZulu Natal. Yinhle kakhulu imbokodo yethu, bengicela nje ke sishayele ihlombe elikhulu. The women of this country should not just be celebrated and then simply just ends there, but they should be empowered. such that they are given the correct platforms to express their own views and be given enough space and opportunity to lead this country. Because they are far more better than capable to lead and take this country into greater heights. It is therefore for this reason that I take this opportunity to congratulate the newly elected first premier, female premier of KwaZulu Natal, Umam Nomusa Dube Ncube, the game changer, who recently took over the position after the resignation of Honorable Sihle Zikalala. We wish her all the best in her new roles. We wish her all the best in her new roles and responsibilities. It is not a very easy role, but we believe that her leadership qualities as the first female premier of KwaZulu Natal will benefit the people of the province. Moreover, I congratulate the women of the province for being represented by the majority females, prestigious and capable women in the newly appointed cabinet of the KZN provincial government. Can you clap hands for that? This is a clear indication that our country is indeed moving towards a direction where it is normalized for women to lead and where patriarchal issues are coming to an end, finally. I further wish to congratulate the people of KwaZulu Natal as they now have a new cabinet under the leadership of Honorable Mam Nomusa Dube Ncube, which will lead us in eradicating all societal, economic issues, inequalities, and then be held accountable as appropriate and accordingly. As the university that is situated in the province of KwaZulu Natal, we should not work in silos, but should form a strong collective relationship with the newly appointed provincial government cabinet, so that we will be able to swiftly attend all our issues and address all our academic and financial issues which always affect our students year after year. Now, if we have a strong relationship with them, we'll be able to mitigate and address and alleviate all these challenges while there is still time, because we have a strong relationship with the provincial government. We do hope that the cabinet will be on the ground to resolve the issues which are threatening to destroy the student movement and the youth movement, not only in the University of KwaZulu Natal, but as well as other institutions across the province. Honorable members, I take you through on the issue of the suspension of the general workers of the University of KwaZulu Natal as one of the key issues which we outlined in our political report in the first sitting of Parliament, as I stipulated. In the political report that was delivered by the President of the SRC in the previous sitting, under the state of the University of KwaZulu Natal, it was outlined that the university decided to unfairly suspend the workers who were striking at Westville campus over their issues and demands emanating from the unfair treatment from the university as they render their services. We further raised our stance and dissatisfaction and anger towards the unions, which were silent and nowhere to be found to represent and fight for the issues of their workers. The massive suspension of general workers did not only contribute to the rising unemployment rate in the country and poverty, but it affected the safety of our students, and it disturbed essential services which are due to our students. As the SRC, we therefore engaged the relevant stakeholders of the University of KwaZulu Natal with an aim of finding a way forward and a better solution and a suitable way forward on the matter, as we were also in solidarity of the suspended workers. Inasmuch as we had a genuine understanding that student governance does not interfere much with the issues of workers of the university, the SRC had numerous engagements with the convocation regarding this matter because it was way out of hand as it affected and compromised the safety of our students. Tolutech 18, there are no security guards, Mapumketa field and so forth. So we had to step in as the SRC and see how can we intervene. Together with the convocation and other stakeholders, we tried by all means to engage the university management in this regard. And as much as the issue has not yet been successfully resolved, we have noticed that most workers have been returned on their work, while some are still remaining at home and are returned in a staggered approach. We thank all student leaders who contributed positively and constructively in support of our general workers, and we remain in solidarity for those who are not yet back. Together with the convocation and other relevant stakeholders, the SRC shall not stop, but will continue its positive engagements, which will assist in the return of our general workers because the situation on our campuses is not really good. The safety of our students is really compromised since there is shortage of RMS security personnel in the entrance gates and other on-campus residences. Honorable members, allow me to take you through on the key pressing issue around the suspension of the Pietermaritzburg campus representative council members. Honorable members, this is a very critical matter in which we need to discuss, have a collective stance on how in the future we will address, because if you allow it to proceed, it's going to be a precedent. And the remarks of the convocation president were clear to say, let's go and amend the constitution. Amend it such that it favors us and protects us as student leaders. Because if we don't, then we'll remain in the dark and won't be able to progress accordingly. On the 30th of June 2022, the SRC executive learned with shock that the members of the PCRC were charged with the student disciplinary rules, were charged by the Student Disciplinary Rules Committee of the University of KwaZulu Natal on charges that are related to Rule 14. We further received heartbreaking information that these members concerned were suspended on the basis of the nature of their charges and evidence brought forth to the Court of Law of the University of KwaZulu Natal. The chair of the Student Disciplinary Rules suspended them pending further investigation. The implications of their suspension prevented them from accessing campus, residences, attending academics, classes, and interacting with any member of the University of KwaZulu Natal in any campus. Not only Pietermaritzburg campus, but any campus. The SRC, as well as various student information, expressed their dissatisfaction, their anger, and stance towards the brutal and harsh decision that was made by the university against members of the PCRC. The main concern is the use of the blanket approach in the application of the suspension instead of applying it on a case-by-case basis, which then ended up affecting and compromising members who are not even appearing on the evidence which was brought forth to the University Court of Law. One of the contributory factors which contributed into their suspension is that they are members of a Facebook group which has members who have instigated violence and encouraged the students to protest and that they were part of the events where there were violent and disruptive strikes at the PMP campus. After receiving such information as the SRC executive and the convocation, we collaborated. We held numerous engagements. We consulted our SGLD manager. We tried by all means to get an advice on how we can attack the matter. And we had an aim of formulating a way forward and a better solution. Therefore, we approached the university and raised a strong appeal and an argument for the Rule 14 not to be applied in a blanket approach, but rather be applied on individual cases. This was our first appeal. We also appealed that the university must uplift the Rule 14 on the suspended members, because we're of the belief that whatever that they were doing it in their capacities as members of the SRC. Therefore, they cannot be expelled from the university while they were in their responsibilities as members of the SRC. We also appeal that the university must uplift the Rule 14 on the suspended members and allow proper investigations to take place accordingly. Lastly, we made an appeal on behalf of all members of the PCRC for them not to be prohibited from campus and their studies, since most of them are only left with a semester to complete their qualifications. The appeal of not using a blanket approach and uplifting the Rule 14 was unfortunately unsuccessful. But the one of campus access and allowing them to continue with their studies was successful, even though there are strict regulations imposed on them upon entry and exit in the campus, and that are challenges related to accommodation since they were prohibited from accessing residences. The SRC executive further made an appeal to the Office of the Registrar of the University of KwaZulu Natal for members of the PCRC to be allowed to stay in their residences so that they can swiftly participate in the academic program. And the PCRC members also made their own appeal by submitting a number of options and recommendations for them to be allowed back and study while they are in their residences. But unfortunately, those appeals, both of them, were denied by the Office of the Registrar. The Registrar further alluded that the current rule order issued against PCRC members therefore remains in force until the final disposition of the hearing. The SRC executive is currently pushing the university registrar to ensure that fast-track the final disposition of the hearing so that we know the final decision taken on the university, taken on these members, so that we know the way forward. The SRC executive then embarked on a journey to seek for more recommendations on the matter. Relevant stakeholders were consulted with an aim of finding a better solution and the way forward that will not implicate the suspended members on their suspension, while also ensuring that the students of Pietermaritzburg are not compromised. After receiving numerous recommendations, the SRC executive, with the guidance from the Office of the SRC Deputy President, who is the chairperson and the convener of the disciplinary tribunal, resolved to put the PCRC under administration and placed an interim administrative structure which will oversee the campus and assist the students temporarily while the members of the PCRC are waiting for the hearing on their charges. The SRC executive took this resolution in line with Section 7.7 of the SRC Constitution on the responsibilities of the Student Representative Council, which says, in exercising its powers and functions, the SRC must take reasonable steps to exercise effective control over all structures under its jurisdiction and consider any objection from a student against a decision or conduct of any office bearer or a structure under its jurisdiction. The interim structure will only temporarily be there to assist the students and host programs. However, in an instance where the hearing resolved that the PCRC members can now be able to come back on campus and that their suspension and charges are uplifted, the interim will lapse with immediate effect and allow members of the PCRC to resume their duties. As the SRC, we have noticed that there are many factors in the university which seek to kill and destroy student activism within the student movement and the youth movement in general. And these factors are being normalized in this institution. Soon these factors will become a precedent. And the student activism within the student movement and the youth movement will die. The directed, deliberate attack and victimization of student leaders is an attack on the students of the University of KwaZulu Natal. And it seeks to silence the voice of the students who are voiceless, poor, and disadvantaged. Honorable members, we need to unite against this attack and challenge it head on. Let us amend our SRC constitution such that it gives us more authority and power, while it also protects student leaders against such instances like the one that affected the members of the PCRC. The status of the SRC as entrenched in Section 4 of the SRC Constitution is not powerful enough to allow us to hold the university management accountable. The status of the SRC as entrenched in the Section 4 of the SRC Constitution is not powerful enough to allow us to hold the university accountable while we are protected in our capacities as student leaders and students as well. Because these are the two capacities we are referring to. Now, the Constitution under Section 4 does not allow us to be protected in our capacities as student leaders as well as students. Because we are believing that when we're in SRC, you are holding two capacities. You are a leader of the students, and then you are the student. It is true that we are first and foremost students before we are student leaders, honorable members, and that is why we must amend the SRC Constitution such that it gives us enough protection against victimization in this institution. While we need to unite against this harsh victimization, honorable members, let us all be responsible student leaders who are able to host healthy engagements in principle without disrespect, havoc, and disruption. We need to ensure that we register our debates, views, or concerns in a very respectful manner which does not compromise the rights of other students and other relevant stakeholders of the university. We need to do this by following the correct processes and procedures. Honorable members, allow me to take you through the hybrid teaching and learning in the second semester of 2022. The SRC, through its members deployed in Senate, have been in constant engagement over the document which outlined how the university is planning to prepare the students for the 100% return to contact learning in the year 2023. The SRC raised arguments to Senate that it is definitely not the right decision to introduce 100% contact learning classes and assessments on campus in the second semester due to a number of reasons, of which the main one is the issue of the shortage of spaces in residences, and the one of having to affect the allowances of students in terms of budgets as they move from their home to register residences. It will definitely be affected, so it's better off when they're at home and then continue online. Then next year, ebese ke ziyakhala. The SRC was and is still flooded with a lot of anxiety and concerns around the decision from the students. For ease of clarification, we even asked the DVC to send the communique in Zulu, which further confused the students. We further engaged the Teaching and Learning DVC, Prof. Song, and there was a clear clarification that the contact teaching and learning is not compulsory, And that is why it is referred to as a hybrid teaching and learning. The module coordinators and the lecturers must work with the class representative and agree on a type of teaching and learning and type of assessments they want to use in the second semester. Students who are unable to attend contact and learning, teaching and learning for whatever reasons, must indicate in writing to their class representative, lecturer, and the module coordinator. All those who are unable to attend contact classes must be catered for in the teaching and learning as well as assessments. Can I repeat that? All those who are unable to attend but who have reported in writing to their class representatives as well as their module coordinators and lecturers must be catered for in the teaching and learning as well as assessments. Should there be an agreement that there's going to be face-to-face sit-in examination and assessments, the module coordinators and the College Dean of Teaching and Learning must submit that in writing to the DVC of Teaching and Learning for approval only if there is proof of agreement that the class has resolved that indeed there's going to be sit-in examinations. If there is no proof, the DVC assured us that they are not going to be approved. Lastly, should there be any issues of cooperation and misunderstanding in this, the College Dean of Teaching and Learning must have a meeting with the lecturers, module coordinators, class reps, for the purposes of clarification. Lecturers who do not cooperate but instill more fear and anxiety to the students must be reported and be called into order. The hybrid teaching and learning is not aiming at compromising students and putting them into a disadvantage, but it is aimed at preparing the students for the 100% return to contact learning in the 2023 academic year. This therefore means that there should be no student who should be further disadvantaged by being forced to attend contact classes, even if they are genuinely and honestly unable to do so due to a number of reasons, but they must be catered for. Let me repeat that. This therefore means that there should be no student who should be further disadvantaged by being forced to attend contact classes, even if they are unable to do so, but they must be catered for. Honorable members, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, through you, Honorable Speaker, can I take honorable members on the item of academic exclusion, readmission, and second semester registration? The first semester of 2022 has been very harsh and devastating for almost every student and every member of the University of KwaZulu Natal due to a number of issues and events that took place. As a result, the academics of our students were disturbed and affected. As you all know, that were the issues of floods, with many issues that were there during the first semester. So the academics of our students were disturbed. While we witnessed that the students who were part of the M+ special examination project passed and completed their qualifications, which was the most pleasant moment for the SRC, since this matter was the first issue that was handed over to us to say, we have first semester modules, we are supposed to graduate, but now the university is denying us. So we fought that matter until it was approved by Senate. And it was very pleasant to see students graduating from our engagements when we lobbied all Senate members to approve that those students who are left with 1 or 2 modules be allowed to write their special examination. Can you clap hands for that? We also witnessed that most students passed their modules well, while some struggled to pass all their modules due to a number of issues such as late registration, floods, late payment of registration, and so forth. The members of the Student Representative Council who sit in the College Academic Exclusion Committee and the University-wide Academic Exclusion Committee represented the students who were at the verge of exclusion very well. The statistics of those who were readmitted is higher than those who were excluded for the second semester of 2022. We appreciated the work that was done by the SRC members who are deployed in these important committees. Furthermore, most of the students who were excluded were readmitted, and that was through the commitment of the SRC members who ensured that these students applied on time and engaged on their behalf for them to be readmitted in the second semester. The SRC is, however, of the view that the academic exclusion policy of the University of KwaZulu Natal and the robot system of the university must be reviewed such that it meets the current needs, the current dynamics, standards, challenges that are faced by the current generation of our students. The initial deadline for the second semester registration was the 5th of August 2022, but through the engagement and efforts of the SRC, which engaged the registrar, the registration was then extended up to the 12th of August for all colleges except the one of the School of Education, which closes on the 25th of August due to the teaching practice school experience that is currently in progress. The second semester registration has been relatively smooth with a fewer challenges of the change of curriculum where forms are captured on time. Those who are still with challenges of registration and change of curriculum issues are being attended by the SRC with the assistance of colleges, and they will remain assisted even after the close of the registration, only if they made their submissions before close business day of the 12th of August. As the School of Education students are about to conclude their teaching practice, we do hope that they have been behaving and cooperating with their mentor teachers, tutors and principals, as well as EAs. As the SRC wish them well on their assessments. The medical students had an issue of unavailability of teaching site hospitals due to the lack of accreditation, and some were damaged by the floods, but there is some light on the matter since the relevant stakeholders are attending the matter. Honorable members, as I'm about to conclude, allow me to take you through briefly on the matters around student funding and financial exclusion in the second semester. The SRC is not pleased with the new tendency of the university of delaying allowances of our students for no good or valid reasons. We have registered our dissatisfaction through the Office of the Chief Finance Officer of the University of KwaZulu Natal. The SRC is pleased to announce that even though the NSFAS system is failing us, together with the financial advisors who do not want to do their work on time, since the beginning of the year, we have managed to assist most of our NSFAS of students on their NSFAS funding application statuses, which are valid, eligible without admission, as we kept on collecting their details and ensured that their NSFAS funding is updated through their college funding advisors. Their budget have been updated accordingly, and they are also in the process of receiving their laptops. Those who have been confirmed for their funding must make sure that they contact their financial advisor so that they can be allocated laptops. While those who are still facing issues of their NSFAS statuses, which are on funding eligible, but they are not allocated funding, they must ensure that they contact their SSSO student services support officers of their campuses, together with their campus secretaries, so that they can be assisted in this, because if they are not assisted this year, their funding will lapse. Because according to our information, when the status says we are funding eligible without admission, it means you are funded. It's just a matter of updating your NSFAS funding to the university system. So it is very much imperative for a student to ensure that it checks their statuses and submit their details to the financial advisors with an assistance of SSSOs and campus secretaries. Honorable members, we are still of the view that NSFAS still needs to be decentralized into our campuses, such that we are able to challenge all issues to a point that they are addressed directly to the campus officer in our campuses. Because this thing of centralizing NSFAS is prohibiting us as SRC members in challenging these NSFAS issues on time. Find that the student is approved for NSFAS in September, while they started their academics in February. So for the whole number of months, they are without food and they are without residences and so forth. So it becomes very painful. So we are of the view, and we demand that NSFAS be decentralized in our campuses so that we can address these issues. We are also of the view that the university management needs to feel the student services division officer acting, the director must be there and be filled. That position has been vacant for some time, and that is why our issues are not easily addressed. So we call upon the university to make sure that that vacancy is filled accordingly. Honorable members, it is with sadness and pain to announce that there are students who have been victims of financial exclusion in the second semester due to financial constraints and challenges. Honorable members, we need to unite in ensuring that there are enough funds in the SRC bursary to assist the students not only in the first semester, but also in the second semester as well. On our records, we've been having a poor campaign on our SRC bursary because there isn't much money we are able to fundraise. The only money that assisting students is the money that is coming from the budget of the SRC with an assistance of the university management to fundraise and assist the students. When we speak about a campaign for the fundraising, President, we are not there yet. Members of this parliament, we need to apply our minds on this, on how we can improve our SRC bursary. It may not be improved now in our term, but we will hand it over to the incoming SRC. And try by all means, when we hand it over, they implement it as soon as possible. Because it's very difficult to say you have readmitted a student, but then they become excluded either way. What then was the cause or use of admitting that student? So, honorable members, we need to apply our minds on this and try by all means to find solutions to strengthen the campaign for our SRC bursary. Try by all means to assist as many students as possible. Honorable members, as I conclude, let me take you through on the residences matters. The SRC has been in the forefront in its call for Wi-Fi maintenance issues to be resolved in leased residences and university-owned residences and in some of their on-campus residences. We have seen some improvement, even though we're not there yet. We will not stop pushing the university in ensuring that the money we pay for is equal to the residences services provided to us. There is a growing concern on the need for residences for the second semester since there is a hybrid teaching and learning, but there are not enough residences. As the university is planning to opt for 100% contact learning in 2023, we are making a clear call for the university to prepare more residence space for 2023. The university must reverse its decision of decreasing a number of residences beds for the 2022-2023 academic year in order to accommodate the students. This is a matter that has been approved and decided by the university. The university wants to decrease the number of beds of the leased residences and increase the number of private accommodation beds. They want to create a 50-50 balance. 50% leased residences and 50% in those private accommodation. Fellow honorable members, we all know how that is going to be impactful to our students. Private accommodation is not easily regulated. We are therefore rejecting this increment of a number of beds in private accommodation, thus decreasing the number of beds in residences. While saying the number of beds must be increased in line with the number of students that are admitted academically by the University of KwaZulu Natal. Honorable members, on the student support services and sports, we'd like to thank all members of the student community, honorable members, for supporting our boys, UKZN EMP, in the Varsity Cup. We know that there are challenges there and there, and they are trying their best. What they need from us, honorable members, is support at all costs, because they represent the emblem of the university. They represent us as members of this University of KwaZulu Natal. Therefore, it's very much important that we support them. We need not only to support sports in the context of soccer, but we need to prioritize sports, other sport codes within the University of KwaZulu Natal. We also need to incorporate and try to prioritize the students who are differently able to participate in the sports of this university. Honorable members, we are seeing a rise on GBV cases and cases of discrimination on our campuses. We're calling upon university management to develop a policy that speaks about GBV. We're also calling upon the university to try by all means to conscientize members of the university, especially the students who do not understand what GBV stands for and what GBV is all about. It cannot be that in each and every week we're experiencing a number of cases from our campuses, but then they're also not attended. We're calling upon the Student Disciplinary Rules Committee of the university to fast-track attending the cases of gender-based violence in our campuses so that the victims can be free in their campuses. Honorable members, issues around safety and security remain an issue. And as the SRC, we're still calling for the return of patrolling. Patrolling security personnel that were used in the past to escort the students around campuses when they go to private accommodations. Honorable members, the food security crisis in our campuses still remains an issue. We appreciate the commitment and assistance of Prof. Modi, but understanding the landscape and how large our university is, we are calling for the university to implement a food security project that will assist students to get 1 meal a day, hot meal, so that students can be able to attend their classes swiftly so. Honorable members, on the programs of the Student Representative Council, due to the registration issues and other factors, the SRC could not host SRC programs in the first semester, especially because COVID-19 regulations were still in place. All the COVID-19 regulations and rules are now no more in place. In the second semester, the SRC will host programs for our students. As we have started, please make sure that you like our page so that you can be well informed of our program that we'll do around our campuses. As I conclude, honorable members, the Student Representative Council cannot champion all issues and execute its mandate without the collective of all substructures of the SRC as well as its clubs and societies. I call upon all members of Parliament to unite and fight against the unjust university system. Let us not look down upon another. Let us not fight while we know our enemy. Our enemy is one. Let us unite and ensure that this unjust university system is collapsed. In my closing remarks, I will say it again. Let us amend the SRC constitution such that it protects us as SRC members, as student leaders. The SRC constitution must give us the authority that we no longer have as SRCs. Therefore, let us take this opportunity given to us and time given to us to amend this SRC constitution for the future so that such cases can be attended. With that being said, I thank you, honorable members.
I am sure that coupled with the oratory skills of the president, which are impeccable, I believe, I don't think any of us can dispute the fact that it was a concise and well thought address, and it actually is indicative of the concurrence which is supposed to exist between the executive branch of student governance, which is the SRC, and also the legislative branch of student governance, which is student parliament. Just before I continue and state, or lay a platform rather for the debate, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge something which actually happened to one of our members of parliament. I'm sure all of you are seeing that the chief whip of the majority party, Kwanduguhle Ndlovu, she's not here with us today. We have an interim chief whip for SASCO and also an interim chief whip for EFFSC. Specifically for the chief whip of SASCO, she stated that unfortunately she lost her mother and she has to bury her mother today. So I just want to pass our condolences as parliament, and we actually ask God or whichever higher power that each and every one of us subscribe to provide the necessary healing and strength to the family. Thank you. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to clearly state that we decided that the debate would actually be impromptu, specifically to maintain the authenticity of the debate and in order to ensure that members bring an objective mind in the course of the debate. According to the list which was given by the Secretary of Parliament, and I want to acknowledge just shortly the work that they've actually done in consolidating all the different parties in Parliament and ensuring that ultimately there is a consolidated list of the speakers, allocation of time, and all of that. So I just want to give a bit of respect and gratitude to the Secretary of Parliament and the Programming Committee. I'm sure you guys might have seen them around, ensuring that people adhere to the seating formula and just everything which actually has to be done in order to ensure that the seating meeting is a success. So I want to thank the Secretary and the Programming Committee. One thing which I want to clearly state again, honorable members, is that in the course of our engagements, of the speech of the President, let us confine ourselves to the contents of the speech. Again, I will constantly interject if there is a member of Parliament who actually, or rather, speaks on a point which was not covered by the speech of the President in the debate. That's why it's an impromptu debate, to ensure that people do not come with preconceived ideas of the speech of the President. It's to ensure that we maintain that authenticity. So with that being said, the first name on my list, Secretary, you'll just correct me if I'm right or wrong. It actually says that the first speaker, which I believe will be from the majority party, is Pepe Lukata. Am I correct? The first speaker. And I just want to clearly outline before they start that the first speaker, because there are 6 speakers in total, there are 2 speakers from EFFSC, there are 2 speakers from SASCO, the majority party, there are 2 speakers from non-political clubs and societies. So in stating this, I want to state that, each, or the first speaker from all these 6 people, the first speakers of each constituent will actually deliver the motion statement. The motion statement is a response to the address of the President, whether you adopt the address of the President or whether you reject the address of the President. Basically, give a motion statement as the first speaker. And then the second speaker, honorable members, will basically be doing rebuttals on the motion statement which was presented by either of the 3 speakers who will actually be presenting a motion statement. So in regards to SASCO, because the President will not get an opportunity to respond to the questions, SASCO, because the President is a deployee of SASCO, it's incumbent upon the party to protect the President in the course of the debate through whatever points which actually might be raised by the opposition. I'm just trying to say that, that's the course of the debate, because we'll not be getting to a point where the President has to respond to all the questions or to everything which would be tabulated before the House. There's a hand over there, honorable member. Is it a point of order? Okay, what? You can just on your, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to confirm now with the representative of colleges, they fall under what? Because I don't hear them collaborating and stuff, so I want to hear from the speaker.
Oh, thank you, honorable member. So the CSC people, the college delegations of ACT and Trans, I lead, I believe the delegation of the Academic Affairs and Transformation Officer, it forms part of the non-political clubs and societies. And even in the course of the engagements and the deliberations about the ultimate list of the debaters, it was clearly stated to the programming committee by the secretary that the CSC people form part of the delegation of they form part of the clubs and societies, the non-political clubs and societies. So they've actually found expression there. I'm seeing the name of Honorable Damian Mukanzi from the list, and I assume that it's in accordance with that. Am I right, Secretary? Okay, thank you. Now I will call upon Mr. Sipepe. I assume it's a... I withdraw, honorable members. The amended SPD. There's a point of order somewhere.
Yes.
Yes, honorable member.
Ngicela ukubingelela indlu. La ngokwe agenda sithunyelele yona. Kuthi upresident uzofika asithulele ilo as address. Then ama debaters will be given 15 minutes to prepare. Because as sikhona la kunezinto esifisa nathi ukuthi siveze. So kulo 15 minutes bandla siyacela ukuthi sinike zona kulandela iprogram kungakhona into enje ezakhiwa ngabamba.
Okay, thank you so much, honorable member. Actually, I had missed that because the secretary did tell me that she and the rest of the programming committee had decided that they'd actually afford members of parliament time to deliberate before the actual debate. And I understand because it's an impromptu debate, so you need time to consolidate the points that you took down when the president was addressing the House. So now I will actually ask the Secretary of Parliament and the Programming Committee to assist us in regards to sticking to the exact time, which is 15 minutes, so that after that we can go back to the actual debate. Secretary of Parliament, can I now, actually, can the House go to that 15 minutes break? Can it? Okay. Okay, honorable members, you are free to, but within the confines of the House, you're not allowed to go outside. So just for 15 minutes, you're supposed to consolidate and speak amongst yourselves, and regarding the address of the president. And I just want to caution everybody that the live stream is still rolling. So how you conduct yourself will ultimately be reflected in the live stream. So be very much cautious of that. Thank you, honorable members. We'll meet again after 15 minutes. Honorable members, Chief Whip, interim Chief Whip of the majority party, can you please ensure that your caucus is seated in their places? Time is up now. Chief Whip of the opposition, can you please ensure that your caucus is seated in their seats? And then clubs and societies, Honorable Damien Mukanzi, can you guys please go back to your seats? The time is up now for deliberations. Yeah, please go back to your seats. We are running out of time. The live stream will be resuming soon, so please go back to your seats. Honorable members, please go back to your seats. No one is allowed to exit the precinct now. We are back on the live stream, so please make your way to your seats, honorable members. Honorable members, let's please go back to our seats. I think we gave you more than enough time to deliberate. Honorable members, please, to your seats. Honorable members, Honorable Mukanzi, can the caucus over there please, be dissolved, please? We want to ensure that we actually respect time and the fact that people may have other places to go to after the sitting. So we do not want to unnecessarily take more than we're supposed to. So please go back to your seats. Honorable Noltando, Nxumalo, we are not supposed to exit the precinct, honorable member. Thank you, honorable member. Assistants, please, Chief Whips, you must ensure that you get your caucuses into order. So, honorable members, I'm being told by the Secretary of Parliament that a member of the programming committee, Honorable Ndlela, over there, will raise a paper with the exact time. If you have exceeded your time, he will actually raise the paper stating that you've exceeded your time. So my responsibility is to constantly look at him and ensure that I see as to how far you are as a debater with regards to time. And I'm sure all of you now know exactly that there's been a specific allocation of time, so you shouldn't exceed your time. And I'm not going to be lenient or provide a leeway for people. If you exceed your time, I'm just going to interject and say, honorable member, thank you, and then we proceed to the debate. We don't want to take more than we're supposed to. With that being said, the first name here, it's Honorable, I think it's Pepelo Gamet or something. No, it's Pepelo. What was it? Pepelo what? Oh, it's Pepelo Gad. Yeah, it's Pepelo Gad. Yeah, it's not Spepelo actually. It's Pelele. Yeah, it's Pelele Gad. Honorable members, I actually open up the platform and the floor for Honorable Gada to please address the House. He will be delivering the motion statement of the majority party, SASCO. Honorable Gada, where are you? Please make your way to the podium, please. We can actually clap at the end, after all the debaters and speakers. No. We can only clap at the end. We are not at the end of the debate, So yeah, I don't want us to clap for a certain speaker, not for the other one. So let's all reserve the clapping and the applauses, towards the end of the debate. Thank you. Honorable members over there, please, let's behave. Honorable Gata, over to you.
Greetings once again, honorable members. I will just say all protocols are observed. Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity granted to debate or to use the CC approach. As the progressive force, we use the CC approach towards the SRC. Honorable President, we are delighted and happy with the efforts of the SRC as led by yourself and the SG. However, in some parts, we will have our approach of criticism. Of course, our criticism will always be constructive. The President outlined the fact that the PCRC was suspended on the 30th or at the end of the first semester. Honorable members, the President outlined the fact that their stance was very clear Hey.
Honourable member, I think just
Yeah.
yeah, you can just.
Ngendaba yokususpendwa kwabafowethu ePMP. Ukuthi abafowethu they cannot be suspended upon the pending investigation. And Honorable President, we welcome the fact that the SRC managed ukuthi labantu bagcine bebuya kephi ecampusini ukuthi bayofunda. Because at the end of the day, singenela sizofuna ama degrees. We were students before we were leaders. Even though they are having terms and conditions, but for the fact that now they are back to the campus, we are delighted as SASCO, continuing with their studies. Yeah, we call in the conditions ukuthi baza escortwa nani nani. However, we must applaud the SRC for the fact that bagcine bekwazi ukufunda. On the issue of suspension of our workers, omama bethu, no baba bethu, omamncane bonke, we understand that the suspension of general workers does not necessarily affect workers only, but it affects us directly as students. And for the fact that the SRC took it upon itself to fight those injustices, working together with clubs and societies. Comrades, Honorable President, and the Honorable SG, SASCO says thank you for taking that opportunity and the responsibility fighting for our general workers. As you outlined that some, they are starting to report for work. And we have seen them in our campuses. We thank you for that. On the issue of hybrid learning, indeed, it will be premature uma ukuthi uthi abuya abafundi emakhaya bazofunda bangenazo indawo zokuhlala. For the fact that the SRC managed to convince relevant stakeholders ukuthi those abasemakhaya baqhubeke besemakhaya. That is a victory for us. Yes, we understand. When we deployed you, Honorable President, we didn't say we are deploying the Messiah or the God. We say we are deploying the President. We understand that some issues will not be won. That is why we said we are deploying the SRC, not the courts of the universities. Because understanding that the universities have its own custodians, which is the council, that have the final weight in our issues. Comrade President, for that being accepted, it's a victory for students. Because now it tells us that those who have issue or those who are having problem with online learning, they can physically attend. And those who are still comfortable with the online learning will online learn. However, there will be no sitting of exam, if I captured you correctly, unless there is an agreement in a class. And that is a victory. Now it tells us that the power is taken back to
Honourable member, can you please just take a pause? There is a point of order on the floor.
Yes, Speaker.
Honourable member, which rule are you rising on?
It's not a rule, Speaker. It's a point of order. The member is
But you must
misleading
clearly
the
state
House.
actually whether it's in your point of order, it's a point of information,
Speaker,
whether incorrect information is provided.
Speaker, the member is misleading the House. The PCRC, every time they have to go to, or they need access to campus, they have to email the register, of which their emails are being ignored. So we cannot be here clap hands for such. Thank
Honourable
you.
Member, your point of order is well captured. Can you please be very brief in raising point of orders, because there's actually a debate where you can clearly state exactly.
Noted, noted.
Thank you, Honourable Member. You may proceed to speak on the podium.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I was saying, ukuthi the class will decide ukuthi we will have sitting exam or not. It shows that the SRC clearly understands who are the gods here, taking power back to students. And with that, Honorable President, on behalf of SASCO, I would like to say we heard your cry. And we will make sure and try by all means ukuthi the constitution is amended. The SRC constitution is amended. Because indeed, the SRC members are vulnerable. Every time the university think of attacking students, they know the first line of attack, which is the SRC. And if that constitution is not amended to defend the gains of students by protecting the SRC, because the SRC stands for students. And through you, President, the SRC has proven that, as you just presented the state of the university address. The issue of NSFAS is a very problem, a big problem for that matter. And if NSFAS is not decentralized, we are still going to face this problem. And that is not the fight that will be won by the SRC, Honorable President. That is the fight that needs all of us, all club and societies, to take it upon themselves. Because saying, by the way, if we are to attack the SRC, we must start by attacking our clubs and societies. Because as per constitution, our clubs and societies are substructures of the SRC. Thank you.
Member. Just as a reminder, honourable members, section 5.2 of the SPD clearly states on what grounds a person can raise a point of order. So if I ask you on what point of order you're rising on, you must clearly state the exact rule which you feel that at that point in time is being contravened, so that it actually makes it easier for us as well to follow, your point of order, or the point of order you've raised at the time. With that being said, I actually want to quickly confirm with the opposition that there are two names before me. It's the name of Mr. Honorable Tsika Nene and Honorable Andisa Mhlongo. Which of these two honorable members will be delivering the motion statement? Honorable members, we don't have time. Can you please be decided? Okay. And another thing, honorable members, I truly appreciate, the confidence and, just how we actually are fully into the moment. It must be an electrifying debate, but obviously we must ensure that we bring that, electrifying aspect of this debate in adhering as well to the prescripts of the SPD. I do not want any member of parliament contravening the SPD or the provisions of the SPD rather. With that being said, Honorable Andisa Mhlongo, the floor is yours, please. I had cautioned against clapping or applause. Can we reserve them for later on after the whole debate is done? And again, honorable members, let's not use derogatory language. We do not use language such as you are lying, such as you are useless, and all those kind of words. We don't make use of those words here in Parliament. If a member of Parliament makes use of such a word or something, I will interject and demand that you retract that statement and withdraw. Thank you, honorable member. You have 8 minutes. You have 8 minutes. There's the timekeeper over there.
Okay, thank you. Greetings, honorable members. My name is Andisa. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command. So I'll try to be brief. Ngizoqala on the president report based on registration. We've heard the president saying kuba khona inkinga nge-registration. So Tina, as the EFFSC, we want to propose ukuthi during the registration period, to avoid a delay, our students are funded by NSFAS. Institution should have a criteria of checking ukuthi if umuntu funded, bayamclearisha even if NSFAS akaka confirm, because UKZN is aware ukuthi I criteria setshenziswa NSFAS injani. So if you passed 50% of your modules and usabuya usazofunda futhi, mele kube automatic, kungabe ukuthi institution izilinda NSFAS, because sometimes kuyenzeka ukuthi I deadline ka NSFAS kokhipha lama message ama clearances I correspond in a registration. So you find that sometimes I registration yase UKZN izovala kuqala more than the proposed date of ama deadline of NSFAS. So amanye ama students agcine se end up financially excluded ngaleyo ndlela. To Mr. Honorable President, we would like to know ukuthi athina ama resolutions enu as SRC to try and challenge the issue yaga NFR and ithini accountability on USETA. Also, we would like to propose ukuthi ukuze I-registration process isheshe, sicela ukuthi kube khona I-head of NSFAS, well at least la Westville, and then ama financial advisors will have powers so that bazokwazi ukusiza ama students at local levels. And as for EPCRC, we would like to know what has SRC executive done so far, because till now we have not received any information from SRC executive ukuthi kwenzakalani ngabantu esabadeploya. Two, there is no such thing ukuthi bayakwazi ukubuyela ecampusini. They can't get back on campus even when they write ama emails requesting uregistra ukuthi bacela ukuba se-campus, uregistrar uyawaziba lawo ma-emails. So we do not understand ukuthi leyo ukuthi sebebuyisiwe ecampus ivelaphi. Okunye i-SRC executive yathi mingena immediate, wathi mekukhishwa i-PCRC, the first thing they did was to place i-campus under administration. So immediately kuphuma i-PCRC kungena i-administration, the Secretary General into ayenza wasendela i-final warning to EFFSC as in Club and Society. He said basinikeza i-final warning of ukuthi if our recognition will be terminated. Lokho sithi ku unconstitutional first ngoba when they say basinikeza ama final warning, asazi ukuthi they are fooling themselves or they are fooling us, cause ngokwazi kwami according to i-constitution ye-SRC, i-disciplinary tribunal is supposed to send us a charge sheet as ama respondents and tell us ukuthi dear EFFSC unama charges are 1 or 2 within 2 days of ama charges, but Deputy President asikaze sithole anything from him saying sinama cases, sinama charges. Yet now sine final warning, asikwazi ngisho nje ukuzenzela nje ordinary programs ecampusini, but kuthiwa sinama final warning. So we do not understand ukuthi a final kanjani u1 no 2 engaqhamukanga. So lokho kusho ukuthi should there be anything on campus bazoskipha nje thina unconstitutional. Nalawo macala lawo abathi a final ngawo asiwazi, we've never seen them. Also, last proposal, we'd like to propose ukuthi institution i-prefund ama students lawa asuke deserving, so that kungeke kuze kube khona isidingo sokuthi libe sifuna ama financial clearance. And okunye, please Mr. Honorable President no ne team yakho, please find a way of proposing to management ukuthi ama students kumele uregister once ukhokhe once usafika usayi first year and then if uphasa kahle the entire degree kumele kube mahalo ukuregister ngoba vele uyaphasa kungabe ukuthi first year second year third
Sorry,
year we
Honourable,
register.
member on the podium, there's a hand. I assume it's a point of order. Honourable Gata, what's the point of order?
Honorable Speaker, Maskala la Uche, we will stick to his speech as a president, nothing outside the speech of the president. The Honorable Speaker, the Honorable member of the podium now is speaking on issues of the EFFSC. The president never mentioned the EFFSC, yet he mentioned...
Honourable members, order, honourable members. Honourable members, I do not want the House to actually degenerate into chaos, please. I do not want applauses. Applauses will be reserved after the whole debating session is done. Can you please not applaud? Honourable member, you've raised a point of order. And Honourable Hlongo, Honourable member, can I please rule? Can I please make a ruling first?
Speaker,
Let me make a ruling.
When I raised, you asked
Honourable
me
member.
on which point I'm
Honourable
raising
member.
on.
Honourable
But
member.
you never asked that member. All
Honourable
I'm asking
member.
for is consistency. Be consistent in your proceedings.
Honourable member, honourable, well captured. One thing which I said earlier on in the debate, honourable member, is that the speakers should confine themselves to the contents of the speech of the president. And that does not specifically find expression in the SPD. That is why I allowed that member to actually
But
speak.
you allowed him without,
member, I do
you
not-
didn't know, you didn't know
Honourable
what is your team,
member, I
but
do
you
not appreciate
didn't
the
know
fact that you're
what is your team,
interjecting.
but you did not
I
ask
do
why.
not appreciate
Yes,
the fact
you
that
asked me without knowing what is your team.
Honourable
and you
member,
asked, why not him?
honourable member, I do not appreciate the fact that when I make a ruling, interject. Do you see?
Speaker.
Can you please leave the house, please? Please leave the house. Please leave the house. Please leave the house.
Yena, yewena, wazosangana phela. Oh.
Can you please note that down? Can you please note that down? Please note that down.
Umemela sala phansi. Hawu. Sala phansi.
Because when I make the rules clearly state, the rules. Honourable member, can you please allow me to speak? The rules clearly state. The rules clearly state.
Order, Speaker.
The rules clearly state. The rules clearly state.
Point of order, Speaker.
Honourable members, please order. The rules clearly state. The rules clearly state that when the speaker is making a point of, or rather is ruling on a point of order, honourable members, can you please allow me to rule? When the speaker is ruling on a point of order, you allow the speaker to rule. Thereafter, you can ask a follow-up question. I would have appreciated, honourable member, if you had actually asked a follow-up question based on the ruling which I would have made on honourable Gata. I do not appreciate the fact that you do not allow me time to respond accordingly to the point of order which was raised. Yeah, you see again, you will speak and I have not recognized you. There are so many hands, you will speak, I have not recognized you. Honourable member, please. Honourable member, please. I have not recognized you. I have not recognized you. Honourable member, you are out of order. You are completely out of order. You are out of order. You see? Honourable member, can I please rule on this first? You know, Honourable Mhlongo, in the course of your speech, can you please confine yourself to the matter which specifically relates to the suspension of the EFFSC members of the CRC? Because if you actually go further and you cover something which did not find expression in the speech of the president, particularly that which concerns members which are not part of the CRC, I had actually indicated that if there is any matter which you feel should be ventilated in this house, you come to the speaker 15 minutes before the sitting and you say to the speaker, Speaker, there is this matter which I actually feel should find expression in this sitting, and then the speaker will decide accordingly. Honourable members, it is not fun for me to actually say a member should leave the house. But unfortunately, in certain instances where I feel that the speaker on the podium wants to cause chaos in the house, I will be left with no option but to ask the person to leave the house. For now, honourable member, temporarily, I will not ask you to leave the house temporarily because I want, obviously, the business of the house to continue effectively and smoothly so. So can we please allow the member of the podium to continue with her submissions? And Honourable Andisa Mhlongo, can you please confine yourself? There was a hand before you. Honourable Kondis.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The issue here, Speaker, is that we run this parliament according to this SPD that has been adopted, right? So according to Rule 5.8 that you mentioned, before the member rise on a point of order, you question on what basis are you rising on a point of order. So that should be a consistent thing, because the commotion here comes when the other honorable member just comes and speak out without the speaker actually asking on what point of order you're rising on. So please, Speaker, the consistency will allow us to run these proceedings very proper. And please, Speaker, don't just dismiss members outside. It's not correct, Speaker. It must be a proper proceedings. Honorable member, are out of order, remain seated or allow me to proceed with this sitting, not just get out of the student parliament. Please, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. But I would actually, in thanking you for your submission, I even want to thank the fact that you actually raised it in an appropriate manner, which befits the decorum of this House. I appreciate that. In regards to your question, Honorable Member, I had already stated that, I allowed that member to actually, speak, because specifically the point that you're speaking about, the fact that, the member was not confining herself to the contents of the speech of the president is not specifically stated in the SPD in black and white. So you can't say it's a point of information, it's a point of irregularity, or it's a point of whatever that the section 5.2 of the SPD document says. So I allowed him on those bases. Honorable members, can you please proceed with the business of the day? I plead with all of you. There's a point of order, there's a hand over here. Honorable member, can I caution you, please? We do not want to go back to chaos. We do not want this House to degenerate further. If you know that your point of order will cause further chaos in the House, can you please reserve it, please? Honorable Member.
Ngibonga ithuba Speaker. Ngibingelela indlu. Besicela nje ukuthi ama-honorable members engazibi amanye ama-points akhona ku-SPPD, kodwa futhi bese evula amehlo amakhulu kwamanye. Njengamanje this honorable member is mentioning i-point elikwi-SPPD ukuthi ke you are not following it. Ekubeni kune point elithe we do not wear irregala la kuyilokho njani. Yet yena ubhuqoke yona njengamanje.
Honorable members, I allowed to, honorable members, I allowed you to speak. Honorable members, I allowed you to speak. Honorable members, can you please give the speaker on the podium chance to speak? Whenever you raise points of orders, I give you the platform. The House listens to you. Honorable Tefelo and the rest, Honorable Memela, can you please give the speaker on the podium chance to speak? When you raise a point of order, we give you the platform. Honorable member, the programming committee and the secretary are responsible for ensuring that no member is wearing regala in the House. So I'm not going to allow any person who's going to say yes, there's someone wearing regala, or no. The secretary and the programming committee would have alerted me if there is such. So can you please proceed, Honorable Member, because I don't want further chaos. Can you please proceed? Honorable Member, what's the point of order? Honorable members, is there a person who said such a statement? Yes. Honorable members, can you please not assist me? Honorable members, can you please not assist me? Honorable members, order! Which specific member of parliament is said to have said that statement? Okay, honorable members, there is a live stream of this sitting. So one thing which we'll do, myself and the executives of parliament, will actually view the live streaming, and then in the next sitting, we'll make a ruling in regards to that, because I do not want us to, I want the business of the day to continue. And honorable member, and please again, remember to confine yourself to the SRC members who are members of the EFFSC who are suspended at PMP campus. Can you please not expand into organizational matters which didn't find expression in the speech of the president? I plead with you, please.
Thank you, Speaker. So we were still on our proposed resolution. So the last one, the city institution must have a criteria of allocating a trust fund to Lama students lawa angeko NSFAS funded, and to also clear historical debts. So if ever isala imali laba bano NSFAS sebengaba funded later. But if ama students bengakwazi ukuthi ube cleared, even if u-NSFAS akakayisendi i-message, kuzokwazi ukuthi ngalo ndlela usheshe uregister, so there will be no need for ama students ukuthi allocate i-trust fund. And also, Speaker, I was speaking based on President ekhuluma ngendaba ye-administration e-PMP. Hence why I was speaking about indaba yama final warning, because indaba yenza as ama administrators. So I was speaking on that. Bengazi ukuthi ama honorable members afuna ukukhuluma into afuna ngikhuluma into ethanda ukuthi iziwe ibona. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Member. I think this is your pen, Honorable Mhlongo. Your pen. According to my list here, again, Honorable Members, just before I give over to the next speaker, Honorable Members, when I make a ruling, please respect the speaker, you know. It's not so much about the individual who is the speaker, but it's about the office of the speaker, you know. Let us conduct ourselves at all times in a manner that befits the decorum of this house. We are in a live stream, meaning that students are able to actually watch the proceedings of this house. So can we please not disrespect our constituents? Because at the end of the day, we do not come here representing ourselves as individuals. We come here representing our constituents. Can we please, in our conduct, reflect the respect that we have for our constituents? I plead with you, honorable members, can we please be behaved and raise points of orders in accordance with the rules? You have gadgets with you. You can just go through the SPD document if you need clarity in regards to what manner should you raise a point of order. I do not appreciate an honorable member, you know, engaging in a back and forth with me. When you raise a point of order, allow me to finish and respond to your point of order. Thereafter, if you're not satisfied, the SPD allows you the opportunity to ask a follow-up question based on the ruling which I would have made to your point of order. So if you're not satisfied with my point of order, you are allowed to raise your hand again and say, Speaker, I have a follow-up question based on the ruling which you have made. So can we please not get to a point whereby this house is uncontrollable? I plead with you. On the list, I now have 2 members from the non-political clubs and societies. They were deliberating over there. They were sitting just over there. And these are people who actually form part of the JCC for residencies and for sports, and also the CSC delegates who are part of the delegation of the ARC and Trans, and also all other non-political clubs and societies which are recognized in at least 3 campuses. They were all deliberating over there, and I actually have a list of the people who will be representing that group. But again, I did say to speakers that please have 1 speaker on standby, because at the end of the debate, you know, it just depends if I'm in a good mood or not. I might extend the debate to other people. No, I'm joking, honorable members. I'm joking. I may actually extend it. It depends on how much time you consume in the course of the debate. You know, so I may allow people to have or to field 1 more speaker. So the 3 groups, I may allow you to field 1 more speaker at the end of the debate. And again, please, let's respect this house. This is not our house. It actually belongs to students. So can you please have that in mind when you conduct ourselves inside the house? There's Honorable Damien Mukanzi and Honorable Sibonelo Mthembu. So I'm assuming that Honorable Mukanzi will be delivering the motion statement of non-political clubs and societies. He forms part of the delegation of the ARC and Trans. He's a CSC. So he is in Parliament. In Parliament, he's representing the College of AES. Over to you, honorable member. And can you please respect the member? I'm hearing that you, but can you please just keep that down?
Special greetings to the VC, Professor Nanapoku, the President of Convocation, Dr. Kumlita, the President of the SRC, Chikjela Malus Zuma, the Speaker of Parliament, Comrade and Honorable Member Batanda Mki. My name, I am Damien Mukanzi, a student studying a PhD in Agricultural Engineering, and I am here to speak on behalf of clubs and societies. First of all, as non-political clubs who would like to submit that we accept your report with slight concerns, Mr. President. In your opening remarks, Mr. President, you say that there is no liberation or revolutionary without women. And you are indeed correct, Mr. President. In terms of the University of KwaZulu Natal, what you see is that the graduation rate as well as the distinction pass for females is more than that of males. However, Mr. President, there is a threat that may end up causing our females not to perform to their optimum best. Mr. President, we have a pandemic that presents itself in the form of gender-based violence. And we'd like to submit that the university till today has got no solid plans, as you rightfully say in your statement. Number two, President, there is a slogan that goes by saying that sex is a choice. However, menstruation is a natural process. However, you find that the social programs to provide sanitary pads within the institution are not as prioritized as condoms are. Mr. President, the second thing that we would like to submit as religious organizations, and we would like to submit that we feel that you have left out this portion, that as other religious organizations are not prioritized such as much as Christians and Islams are prioritized within this institution. For instance, Nazareth has started on the 10th of March, but you find that the university does not have this glorious day within its calendar. Number two, President, Umakosi at Howard College is no longer there. And you find that our students which practice African traditional medicine can no longer submit proof or evidence when they have consulted one. President, once again, we want to extend to say that as religious clubs, you find that we book venues for the weekends. But you find that the institution says over the weekend you cannot book beyond 16:00 o'clock. But besides the booking itself, you find that they are telling us as clubs that we can only book one venue per week. President, you rightfully say that COVID and its regulation have been uplifted. Yet you find that the institution still has illogical and decisions which are not backed up by any form of evidence. We also want to say that we support your stance for standing in solidarity with the PCRC. However, we want to submit to you, President, that the VC, together with the Director of Corporate Relations, on several instances, they released statements to say that the destruction, the vandalism, and chaos that took place in Maritzburg were because of the PCRC. They did this without conducting any form of investigation. Now, President, we want to say that this has got significant adverse impacts in our lives as students of UKZN. And it is a point that must be taken with a great level of seriousness. Now, the university at one point released a statement that said that it was students that held staff hostage. Now, who will employ a group of students that come from a university of abductors? And this statement, Mr. President, was released with no form of investigation or evidence. So the university is participating in events that will render us students from this university not to be employable. We ask for you to apply your lenses and wisdom in tackling this matter. Fortunately, the President of Convocation is also here to hear our concerns. Mr. President, there is something also that we want to submit to you. That when the year started, you found that first years were given offers. And when these first years were given offers, they were not allowed to register, despite submitting the acceptance of offer on time. The university, through its recklessness at a later stage, told the students that they have no spaces. Now, Mr. President, I don't know what kind of violation of contract is this. And I'd also like to submit that the Office of the Academic and Transformation Officer wrote to the institution on this matter countless times to no success. And of course, Mr. President, there was nothing that her office could do. There is nothing that any club in this place could do, because we have a clause in the SRC constitution that says, and I quote, freely so, that the SRC is not a legal entity. It cannot be sued or sue in its name. This is to remind honorable members that we have an opportunity once again to amend the constitution. And we must speak against clauses such as these that speak against us. Mr. President, we want to also say that we are glad that there is an SRC trust fund that was able to register students. We also say we are glad, President, that our students were able to write their special exams. We also, President, would like to submit that we are glad that the institution has academic training, such as your library training, where students are taught to reference and not to plagiarize. Lastly, Mr. President, we want to submit that we are also glad that there has been an introduction of the FYE mentorship program. Despite the fact that it has challenges because it is new, you can see that the vision was taken through a sober
Thank you, Honorable Member.
mind.
Time is up.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Damian Mukanti, representative of the College of AES and forming part of the non-political organizations in Parliament. And now I'm going to be going to the sweepers, basically, the people who will be doing the rebuttals of the motion statements. So whomever will be delivering a motion state, or sorry, rather, who will be sweeping just now, the people will be sweeping. You are basically responding to the motion statement, which was presented by either of the three speakers who have just spoken now. So we are down to the first round. The first round, it was motion statements from all the three groups in Parliament. Now we're going to the sweepers who will be doing the rebuttals. And according to my list, I have Honorable Lindani Zulu from Howard Campus, who will be doing the sweeping on behalf of the majority party, SASCO. And honorable members, again, if you have a point of order, please raise your point of order in an orderly and respectful manner. And when I make a ruling on that point of order, allow me the time. The discretion, invested or vested rather in the office of the speaker does not allow us, to conduct ourselves in any way which you want. So can you please just stick to, the expectation in accordance with the SPD document. Honorable Zulu, the floor is yours.
Greetings, honorable members. It's been a great evening. All protocol observed. I would like to first thank our committee for the Parliament for arranging us this sitting to sit exactly where it's the month where we commemorate our women who stood up back in the days to voice out that they can also lead. It's been nothing this year but a year of pain where a lot has happened if we cite it through the presidential report that was presented on our previous setting of the Parliament. Even today, the President has cited a very disheartening series of events that has taken place within the region of the province. We have suffered COVID-19, we have suffered floods, we have suffered lots of unkind experiences to the humankind, such as GBV. There has been also a transgression of human rights. I would like to accept the report of the President with all the convictions they have made to the EMC about the matter of PCRC. The President has went as far with his collective to appeal the decision to suspend the PCRC. The President has went far with his collective to collaborate with the convocation, to seek legal advice with the external entities to try and restore the future of the PSRC members. I would like to accept these appeals and efforts done by the UKZN SRC. I will further move to the hybrid learning approach. Accept the report of the President when they said all students who cannot participate in contact learning must communicate in writing with the class representative of respective modules and module coordinators in writing. I will further appreciate the report of the President when they spoke of the extension for a registration deadline from the 5th of August to the 12th of August, and particularly give a special attention to the Edgewood campus through the teaching practice that has been extended to the 24th of August. I would also like to accept the report of the President when he spoke very informatively about the delays and accepting the challenges that has been existing through the NSFAS funding allowances. The report of the President went as far as proposing the decentralization of NSFAS to campus levels. The report of the President captured a very progressive initiative that has been done by the UKZN SRC. The UKZN SRC bursary that has assisted many of unfortunate students that come from the marginalized communities. It has been a selfless initiative to redirect the operational funds of the Student Representative Council to a trust fund. It takes a gut to take that decision. There has been no events that have been witnessed from the first semester. That was not done deliberately. The SRC was focusing on student-based matters. They've invested so much time in addressing those matters, such as allowing more students to get through their registration. I will also concur with my first speaker on the CC approach. There's been a time where we left F10s, first-time students of UKZN who could not register because of the poor university administration. It takes a gut to accept and to recognize that mistake. I will further accept the President's report when it comes to the state of residencies. Wi-Fi has been nothing but an issue in this institution of UKZN. Maintenance is far worse than any other issue that has ever existed in the student accommodation. The buildings are dilapidated in a state that we cannot even compete with other universities. I've also heard and accepted the outcry of the President's report about the shortage of residencies especially for the year 2023, where we'll be experiencing a fully fledged contact learning. I will also accept the SRC appeal to increase the residencies with the proportion of the registered overall students at UKZN. I'll further move to the sports. It is such a disappointment that at this point in time, there has been a very poor performance of our UKZN imp. We must accept that we need a greater intervention. I will also accept the president reports through the GPV policy that has to deal and eradicate the growing concerns and cases that are unattended through the RMS. There is enough evidence of paper trail that those cases are of serious concerns and are very traumatizing. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, honourable members. We have decided that as executives of Parliament, we will expand the debates with 3 more speakers. So after the second speakers of each of the 3 groups are done, there will be another round of the final speakers from each party. And I implore the parties that in whomever that you field for the final slot, make sure that it's a person who will be able to do an effective sweeping, because basically we'll be doing rebuttals. Make sure that it's a person who's able to actually pick up, shortfalls in the argument or the motion statement which was presented by either the opposition or the majority party or the clubs and societies. Make sure that it's a person who's able to think on their feet and raise sufficient and valid rebuttals on the motion statements which were raised by the 3 speakers and also followed by the rebuttals by the second speakers. Proceeding with the list I have with me, I see that the second speaker from the opposition, it's Honorable Ntsiganene. Honorable Ntsiganene, the floor is yours.
Greetings, honorable members. Igama lami bangibiza ngoNtsika ngakwanene ngiqhamuka ePMB campus. So Tina, as EFFSC, we'd like to firstly say it out loud. We do reject this report that has been given to us by Honorable President. Why are we saying this? There's a lot of loopholes that the President left within his report, such as the opening lines, it's student governance does not deal that much on issues of the workers. Yes, on protocol it's like that, but on practicality it is not like this, because if the workers are ill-treated, we are the ones who are suffering at the lower grounds. Because now, if the institution provides cheap cleaning equipment, who are the people who are working in those passages that are cleaned by our aunt? Wobana basebenzisa ama-toilets lawa cleaner wo-anti ngalama chemical alimazayo. Some of us suffer from izinto eziningi, izifo eziningi, maybe asthma noma yini, but through incompetence ye-university, we are suffering. So as much as nathi si deala ney'nkinga zabafundi, iy'nkinga zabasebenzi affects us and hayi kancane. Moving towards inkinga le ye-SRC, ye-PSRC yalaphayana. President spoke of amending. I'm very much happy that he did mention ukuthi kumele senze ama-amendments. Singathi mase sivumelana sonke la just because kukhona ama-camera. And mase kufanele sivote, sekufanele sivotele lama amendment esikhuluma ngawo sijike singawenzi siphume namanye ama results. By ESRC not being a legal entity, it means you cannot hold the institution accountable ngayiphi imali, because the institution will say thina asicharge SRC, but sicharge wena as individual. Where are you going to get imali yokuchallenge ama lawyer ase UKZN? Uzoyithatha phi imali yokuthi wena uyoqophisana ne UKZN ecourt? So either way or how not, if we cannot change that point, it means everything in the constitution is null and void. Because if we reach a disagreement with the institution and it takes it to court, sedliwe. So it's very much important that that point of illegal entity be amendment, be ilsuswe. So that we can hold the institution accountable. Because currently, who makes the institution account? Where does the institution account? To who? Because it's not the SRC at campus level and it's not the SRC at the broader level. But where does the institution account? Nowhere. Moving to hybrid teaching and learning. President spoke, but he left simple basic issues, such as the issue of data and global protect. I would like to get a clear clarification of the reasoning behind the global protect, because we were using Wi-Fi nicely and suddenly now we are using global protect. Also ukuthi manje kuwona lo global protect ongasa connectike kodwa iWi-Fi connectile asakwazi ungena ku-internet, but we do not understand ukuthi ke what role is global protect planning? What role is it playing kahle kahle empilweni zethu? Because we can now access iWi-Fi, but seku global protect inking. Owani global protect? Masingathola nje clarification ngalapho singabe siqedile. Nama special exam, sacela ama special exam ebuwele ngoJanuary. The main issue or the main reason behind ama special exam ebe ngoJanuary is for you to complete your degree mawusele nayo le yodwa, then be able to apply for postgrad studies. So now if it happens ukuthi ke ama special exam ayobhalwa ngoMay, ngizo register nini? Shuthi sekufanele ngize ngilinde ulaka olandelayo. So let us just back it up and go back to basics, whereby we are saying January special exams are written. Wonke umuntu uyaqeda, ofeyila uyafeyila, ophasa uyaphasa, then we move forward and see how we are assisting them. We coming to student funding and financial exclusion. We do not have a clear, transparent report on our SRC bursary and how is it allocated, because now we get a situation whereby a NSFAS funded student is receiving SRC bursary, but while another student that does not have any source of funding is left unattended to. So we need a clear criteria of who and how does a person get SRC bursary. You know, because now ekugcineni kosuku sekunabantu abaningi abangayitholi who are deserving, but ithole umuntu mhlawumbe unesifasi wakhe ongakayiconfirm ifunding yakhe, but esazi ukuthi ngokuqhubeka konyaka izoyiconfirm. We have now a student who is not represented. And going to residencies, comrades, we have a crisis of AMA residencies at UKZN. I have never seen AMA residencies which are so low on maintenance and quality. We have a building whereby if izululina, amanzi azoxhaxhaza esukwela phezulu ezeyongena phansi. How is that happening in a two-floor building? Ukuthi khona amanzi avuzayo, khona amanzi penetrator cement. It means the leo building leo iyodwa is no more sustainable to hold thina. Mayingase iwe singaphakathi kuyothiwa kuyoba isibhinqongo. You know, itofu izinto abazenzayo lapha yana, they just buy used stoves and paint it black and put it in our kitchens. Uyilayithe kanye vele ivuthi ingasafuna ukucisha. Mase ngasivuthi singasafuna ukucisha sesifile istove sekufanele uyobika ku maintenance. So we need to be in engagements of whereby izinto ama decisions as affectayo nathi sibe khona kuleyo ma decision kuleyo ma engagements ukuthi nathi sine contribution yokuthi comrades if nithenga itofu no wanihambe niyobhekani lapha ningathatha ama second hand, because ama second hand alimala kanje. There's a lot of things president that you mentioned kwi report yakho which are quite alarming, yabo, because beginning of this year inkinga yama residences lapha ePietermaritzburg campus was not basically solely focused ukuthi ama students anenkinga, but it was through the staff. We must also make staff accountable. How can you leave i-office lakho bekwe kulona ngo-10 ekseni uhambe ubuyele kwakho while there are plus 150 students waiting to be allocated? Who must allocate those students? how must those students get indawo yokuhlala if wena o in charge ukuthi ubafake khona awukho? Such behaviors izinto efanele sikhulume ngazo, honorable members, because as much as it's happening kweyami campus, it does not mean anyeke yenzeke kuwena. The very same thing ne SRC being suspended, akuchazi ngoba yenzeke lapha anyeke isenzeka kuwena. These are issues we need to tackle now before they become much for us to handle. Ngiyabonga.
Honorable members, but again, Bonile, that it seems like it will be impossible to ultimately preclude you from clapping and all of that. I had said earlier on that we should reserve the clapping, towards the end of the debating session, because we do not want to find ourselves in a situation where you clap for one speaker, you don't clap for the other one, because the clapping of hands does not say that whatever contents of the speech of that particular speaker were inadequate in any shape or form, So I don't really appreciate the fact that you have exceeded the rule which I put in place when I, officially opened the debating session, that we only clap at the end when all the speakers have ventilated their issues. With that being said, I've only received, remember I had stated that we'll now allow 3 more speakers towards the end of the debate, 1 from each of the 3 groups in Parliament. But I've only received 1 name from SASCO, the majority party, in regards to the final sweeper or closing speaker. Yes. So I've only received. Yeah, so I've only received 1 name. I know, don't worry, I'm going to give over to the Speaker of the Clubs and Societies. I was just stating so that I could get the names now, so that whilst the Speaker of the Clubs and Societies is speaking, I would actually have the names with me. So we've only received 1 name from the majority party in regards to the closing sweeper, and that's the name of Honorable Melusi Mbeje. I haven't received 2 other names from the clubs and societies, non-political clubs and societies, and also the opposition. All right, I see with me that from the opposition, EFFSC, it's the name of Honorable Siandiswa Mbata. Siandiswa Mbata. Am I pronouncing the name correctly? Okay. Siandiswa. Okay. Yeah, it's the name of Honorable Siandiswa Mbata. And from the clubs and societies, it's Tabani Nkos. It's Honorable Tabani Nkos. So those 3 speakers should prepare themselves accordingly, whilst the last speaker, or the second speaker rather, of the clubs and societies, non-political ones, is presenting or speaking. Can you just prepare yourselves so that when I call upon you to to take the podium, you are not caught off guard? So with that being said, I will give over to Honorable Sibonelo Mthembu, the speaker representing the non-political clubs and societies. Over to you, Honorable Member.
Ngiyabonga Somlomo, ngibingelele umongameli womkhandla abafundi kanye nobhala wakhe. Also special greetings to President we Convocation Dr. Qiniswa Mlitha. Ngibingelele speaker nawe Sekela Somlomo. Sixolise speaker ukuthi singawufaka uformal as you requested. Some of us are descendant of the gutter, so no matter how esteemed the gathering is, we wear our problems. President, seswazile honorable members engage about issues, but I want to center my argument based on the institution sport fraternity. President Utena, we must support our sport code, but the reality of the matter here is that UKZN sport code are treated differently. It's a matter of Uguti, is it played by a white person or is it played by a black person? The truth is, we have a problem. Abelungu masidlala ibhola ebusuku bathi sibabangela umsindo. But when rugby is played, they also come out and play bezo supporter anakuzane ingane zabo. President, you said sinama challenges. You said you must support UKZN impi, even we know challenges. Challenges are not awekho ku UKZN impi, but the challenge is that sport is not represented. We need to have a portfolio yaka sport emkhandleni wabafundi, and you can't expect student service to deal with sport issues, because those people are dealing with a lot of things, but dealing with food parcel, none. And only to find Uguti, these political parties are expecting Uguti, when they deploy someone with student service, it must be a person who understands sport. Unfortunately, ever since Ngafige University, I've never seen someone who understands sport with student service. Those are the problems. So we need to have a portfolio of sport. We need to make sure what sport is represented. Part of the problem, Mr. President, is that if we're going to sit here and prioritize a certain sport code and think sizovele sithi nje UKZN impi nama challenges, we know the challenges. Why are we not speaking about them? Why we are saying they have challenges when we are sitting here? This sitting of this student parliament would have failed the student if engakhuluma about the challenges of UKZN and impi. We know people who are bringing problems in sport. So we are saying, let's have a full representative who sport emkhandlwini, even from Ucentrali, let's have sport, so that those challenges will be raised by relevant people. There was a case, Howard, and we are still pursuing it. But we were told the only people who are going to discuss this case are Umkhandlu. And the problem is that if we had sport officer, Mkhandlwini, it would have been easy. So you can't expect a student service to cover all these issues as sport. If we had, looking at the proposed amendment, about student union, and also I will put it on submission, if we dissolve sport department and allow student union to take over, and we would have done great for our student. Because this thing of coming here and saying you guys are well, we're offering no solutions, it's a problem to even a student. One of the submissions that are made by UNATESA is that 28 March to May, 25 September, 19 December is Kumbuzo Lezo, and those dates must be included with calendar. Let's call. I'm feeling wonder cool because I said with my argument will be centered around sport facility. Mr. President, please note those things and must deal with them.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Now I call upon Honorable Melu Simbeje, who will be doing the final sweeping for the majority party. I expect Honorable Members, you must actually bring that electrifying feel into the debate so that even the people live streaming the event are able to engage effectively with the points that you're raising. So let's try to actually ensure that you do not just debate for the sake of debating, but you bring your whole self into the moment, be in the moment, debate effectively, by actually allowing yourself to fully partake in the moment. So Honorable Mbeje, over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and greetings to members of the House. Honorable Speaker, thank you for the pressure. There is one important thing that we need to understand as members of this Parliament, that student activism, as the Honorable President has spoken about, student activism in UKZN is degenerating. And this degeneration needs to be cured. There's no one else who can cure this degeneration except us. The degeneration of student activism from that side of the House is very conspicuous. The first speaker came here and told us that there has to be a trust that is built for people who do not have funding. Where is this money going to come from? The president of Convocation was just here telling us about the financial woes of the university. We must come up with solutions that are viable and those that make sense. We mustn't come here and sloganize and actually pass propaganda and all of that. So it is important for us that we need to make those solutions. There's a tendency from students of UKZN and there's a tendency from members of this Parliament who are representatives of students to put this SRC that we voted for on the spot. They can't do everything. They are students just like us. We can't come and say, this problem 1, problem 2, problem 3, why is this not solved? We need to come up with those problems. We can't just come here and point out problems without bringing the solutions. Comrade President, it is important it is very, very important that you and your SRC go out in that private sector and you lobby that private sector to pour more funding into the programs of the SRC. We welcome the fact that that students who are affected by COVID-19 and the 100% principle are going to be able to find some sort of relief from the university. Comrade President, those were just the wishes of the SRC. We need assurances that that is really going to happen, because we are very well aware of the management and its hostility against the student. It is unfortunate, Comrade Speaker, that we did not have the Treasurer's report. Last sitting, we were supposed to have a Treasurer's report, but there was a problem. Perhaps a Treasurer's report would have been ideal at this point in time, because there is a clear misunderstanding of the financial ability of this university and the financial ability of the SRC in general. The SRC in Pietermaritzburg, this is one thing that we all agree upon. We agree that the SRC in PMB is being victimized, and we agree that the SRC in Pietermaritzburg must receive justice. We all agree in this house. We thank you, Comrade President, and your SRC for the enormous and the strain that you went through and great pains that you went to ensuring that that SRC gets an opportunity to study at least. We know that the management is difficult and is anti-student, and we are glad that you are able to sort of to advocate for the SRC in Pietermaritzburg. This age of young leaders needs critical thinkers, not people who go around passing propaganda and actually posing challenges and saying, we are facing this, we are facing this, we are facing this, we are facing this, without any solutions. It is important that these solutions must come from us. It must come from us. Comrades, honorable members of Parliament, we thank and we recognize from the speech of the President that the SRC has taken steps to address, or will take steps to address, gender-based violence in our institution. It is very important that as a higher education, we address gender-based violence, and we are hopeful that that event or those plans are going to materialize soon, President. We are waiting for action, President. We are keeping a watchful eye, and we, as the majority party, are telling you that the time is not over yet. You still have time in office, about a month or so. Please make the best of it. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Now, I think, what's the name? It's Siandi Swambata from the opposition. Over to you, Honorable Member. Oh, it's the interim Chief Whip. Or over to you, Chief Whip.
Greetings are extended to all members of Parliament. This is Honorable Mbata, the interim Chief Whip of the day for the EFFSC. So I'd like to start by firstly correcting Honorable Mbeje. Honorable Muisha did provide solutions. She didn't just provide problems. So please stop misleading and have your facts right. But if those solutions were not enough for you, ngizozama ukuthi ngikubekele. So,
Honorable Member, can you please pause for a moment? Honorable Chief Whip of the majority party.
I'm not sure if I'm voting for the Honorable Chairperson.
Can you please on? No, it's fine. You can make use of the other one. Okay. I think, yeah, it's fine, you can just, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Speaker must rise on the point of order in terms of the policy that guides the proceedings of the House. The Honorable Member on the podium is directly addressing honorable member, when the policy in fact clarifies that all members should be addressed through the Speaker of the House.
Point of order, Speaker.
Thank you, honorable member. Thank you, honorable member.
Point of
Thank you, honorable member.
point of order,
well
Speaker.
Thank you, honorable member. Well captured. Well captured. Well captured. Well captured, honorable member. Actually, as the speaker on the podium was actually addressing, I wanted to rise and state that, you can only speak through me, so you must not directly, speak through Honorable Mbeche. So can you
I
please-
withdraw.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Member. Can we now proceed?
Point of
Can we now
clarity,
proceed with the
Speaker.
business of the House?
Speaker, point of clarity, please.
Honorable
Speaker, you are
member.
the only speaker in the House. Speaker, point
Honorable
of
Member,
clarity, please.
Honorable Mhlongo.
Yes,
When you have a point of order, you raise a hand, and then the speaker takes notice of your hand, and then the speaker points you to speak.
Okay,
that is the only
recognize
time.
me,
That
Speaker.
is the only time.
My hand is up.
That is the only time we expect you to speak. That is the only time we expect you to speak. So, I plead with you to please respect your speaker because your speaker is on the podium. So what? Now I'm noting you, Honorable Mhlongo. What point of order are you rising on? If you are rising on the matter, the speaker has already withdrawn, and the rules of parliament clearly states that you can only address all the members of parliament through the speaker. So I am not going to allow you to actually speak about a matter which concerns the withdrawal of the speaker on the podium. So is it something different which you feel that should be ventilated before the House?
I'm rising on a point of clarity, Speaker.
What clarity, Honorable
But how
Member?
can you ruling to Speaker?
What clarity? I was not ruling. I was saying that you are precluded from
Okay,
speaking about.
Speaker, please protect me first.
Honorable
because-
Member,
Yeah,
Honorable Member, can you please,
bang, how
please,
official
please,
apa.
please state your point of order?
Yeah.
Please
So
state your point of
I'm
order.
rising on a point of clarity.
What clarity do you
seeking
need?
question,
Yes.
Speaker. Yes, thank you. So according to policy yala siyazi sonke ukuthi when we speak through a speaker. So does that mean we have to directly look at you in order for the House to know what you are speaking to the speaker or any member?
Honorable members, order. Honorable, okay.
Or any
Honorable
member
member,
while
I've well
I'm
captured you.
addressing
Order,
the House.
honorable members, order.
I haven't done so, or any member engisuke ngiyibuka while addressing the House izothi ngikhuluma nayo. The reason why ngibuza lo ukuthi sifuna ukuthi mesikhuluma sibheke wena kuphela so that ama honorable
Honorable
members
member, I've captured
engazi
you.
ukuthi
I've
sibuka
captured. Okay.
wona.
Honorable members, please order. Honorable Mhlongo, the speaker on the podium said, Honorable Mbeche, I see that you see. So she directly addressed Honorable Mbeche. It was not only the facial expression, rather the direction she was facing in the course of her address. She directly said, Honorable Mbeche. So that's the extent to which we said she should withdraw. And again, Honorable Member, I do not appreciate the fact that you raised a point of order on a matter which I already made a ruling
It was
about.
a point of clarity. Stop
Honorable
saying what I did not
Honorable
say,
member,
Speaker.
honorable member,
I was
honorable member.
asking clarity. Angizange
Honorable member,
based on what you
honorable
said.
members, order, honorable members, order.
Oh, it was a point of clarity.
Honorable Mhlongo, I've captured you.
But
Honorable
Speaker,
order, honorable members, order.
Norman, Speaker, you are unfair.
Honorable Mhlongo, I've well captured your point of order, and I've stated and I've responded accordingly. Can you please switch off your mic? You raised the point of order, and I responded accordingly.
Point of clarity.
Thank you, and I responded. I responded. Yes, fine. I responded to your point of clarity. Please, honorable members, your speaker is on the podium. Your speaker is on the podium. Your sweeping speaker is on the podium as EFFSC. And I would have actually assumed that there'd be respect for the speaker on the podium. So can you please respect the speaker on the podium? Sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. As I was saying, through you, of course, Honorable Muisha did provide solutions, but if the House did not get the solutions, Honorable President and your SRC, ningazama nje ukuthi ni raise ama-funds ukuthi nizama ukuthi nifande abafundi. Kuningi kakuchazile kodwa nje bese ngizama ukuthi ngicorrecte lapho ukuthi we did not only provide inkinga. So, uPresident uye wathi ke uye wakhuluma ngokureviva nokusave student leaders and their activism. Kanjani uma ngabe iPCRC yachargewa ngolesibili, ngolesihlanu yaba dismissed in a space of 3 days. What investigation was done by UDP kulo 3 days loyo batholakala ukuthi banecala and were charged with Rule 14 with no proof whatsoever. They cannot be suspended if there wasn't a charge. And then I'd like to continue. Okwesibili, we are very much aware ukuthi babungekho ubufakazi, which means they were unfairly suspended with pending cases. Nakhona ongekho ubufakazi ngaphandle kokuthi baposta ku Facebook. Siyakuza konke ukuzama kwenu engazange ngiphumelele kona. Yini enye eniyena yenza ukubuyisa iPSRC ngaphandle kwama letters abawadeclineile nakhona. Ngisalapho futhi kwipoint lePCRC. Ngiyangeza ukuthi abakwazi ungena emares, which we are all aware of, but those people are funded bayakhokha. Bawakhokhela kanjani amares abangahlali kuwona? Yindaba ke isikolo singa reverse ama funds abo bathola ama commune or enye indlela abazohlala ngayo bona, because now they can't be living emakhaya, bana wifi, banazindawo zokufunda, abanayo yonke into rights. Shuthi nithi nina labantwana ba compromise imfundo yabo ngamacala angekho, because those people were unfairly suspended, I repeat. So please ngicela ukuthi nizame ukuthi nibhekeke leyo, because my solution from the EFFSC is imali yabo ayibuyele emumva kubona, babone ukuthi benzani ngayo, bengachatshelwa amaresa abangahlala kuona. Okunye ke futhi uye wakhuluma ngendaba yokuthi second semester uhafu online uhafu usemakla kanjani, because especially for final years, because we all received the email, I believe. Abanye bekhe emares basemakhaya, amares awekhe UKZN. Uye wachaza lokho sonke siyakwazi. So uma ngabe sonke sizobhalela ecampusini umuntu ekubo le ematatiyele engena network, nithi akenze njani lo umuntu loyo, kwakona nje uzotravela kanjani ngosuku olulodwa buyele emumva. Niyasazi ukuthi staff sase UKZN si arrogant kanjani, and ngizokuphinda lokho. Yini enzoyenza ukuqinisekisa ngempela, because you can't just tell us ukuthi sorry kuma class rep. Okunye ke
Honorable members, order. Order, honorable members. Is there a point of order? No, there's no point of order. You can proceed speaking.
Yes, I did very much hear a clarification yak. So please.
So to speak on the podium, can you please pause for a bit? Who's raising a point of order?
Point of order, Chair.
Yes, honorable member.
Chairperson, the speaker on the floor is misleading the House. The President said that people have to rely on class representative, module coordinators and lecturers. She didn't just say that class representative. That's a correction, Honorable Speaker.
Listening is a skill, no. Listening is a skill. Honorable members, I precluded the members of the House from clapping, because it's going to delay us unnecessarily so. So I take the point of information from that honorable member. Can you please proceed, honorable member, on the floor, please?
Okay, thank you. Leo point of information ngizwile bese ngisho kuyona ukuthi we know very much ukuthi how arrogant they are. Thank you. Also, there must be a rule implemented, especially to the housing officials. Those people, we have our final years staying kwama sharing, ekubeni sinama first years ahlala kwama single. Mangabuya ka housing bazokutshela ngeprocedure ukuthi amaresa awekho and what not. So please, those people have to have at least a rule abazoyilandela, because if you go there abasinagi, which I did indicate ukuthi they are very much arrogant. Sonke siyakwazi lokho. So that is it. But please do look closely endabeni PCRC. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. We are now down to one speaker from the non-political clubs and societies. And the name I have with me, it's the name of Honorable Member Thabani Nkosi. Honorable Thabani Nkosi, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Firstly, I would like to greet the leadership of UKZN, starting from VC, coming back to SRC leadership, and then I would like to greet the house, those who always come here. Thank you so much. And then I would like to say to the leadership in all of them, we love you and we pray for you as Club Societies. To my points, I think my colleagues, Damian Mukansi and my guy there covered me, my honorable member there covered me. Thank you for that.
Order.
Honorable members, order.
Thank you again, Honorable Speaker. So I think I would just cover. I won't be long, as you see. By heights, I'm short. So one of the things that I would like to pass, I would like to thank the SRC for everything that they've done for students. We know they also come here for studying and for leading us. It's so much hard work and everything they need is cool. So I would like to start from accommodation. So in the if it if finally share in the first year, I think that also affects academics because we know if we try to think we match everything as long as cause thing. So siyacela ukuthi sizame ukubhekisisa leyo ke ukuthi because ama first siyawazi ukuthi some of them ayahlupha emhlanje tete and mukhuza umuntu yabo umenza inqabano ukuthi anisazwani yabo and lokho affects academically. And then number 2, I would like to thank also the president to allow online learning this semester because we know ukuthi siyazi ukuthi kunzima kangakanani ukuthi sumele relocate and financially, especially my final students ukuthi they don't have funding. So siyacela kakhulu president ukuthi for this semester ni propose ukuthi ayiqhubeke online. And siyacela futhi ukuthi has ama lectures they are working together with class reps. Siyacela nje ukuthi ngabi nenkinga because some of the lectures you know ukuthi especially professor banenkani yabo they don't want to work with ama class reps. Siyacela ukuthi ngenelele kakhulu lapho ukuthi ma ukuthi i-class rep bavumelana ukuthi ne-class ukuthi they need at least 2 assessment online and 2 assessment maybe conduct because we know ukuthi it was open ukuthi it was 100% yabo but it's depend on the lecture obvious and the number yama students who khona. Number 3, we also want to thank the SRC to extend registration for students because we know with some of students bengaregister siyabonga kakhulu for ukuthi extend registration kube kuhle kakhulu lokho because amanye ama student ethu akwazi ukuregister. And then okwesine 4th siyacela ukuthi it's a proposal actually ukuthi at least the university for especially the incoming SRC ukuthi estimate for this year estimate maybe the numbers abazoyithatha next year because you know ukuthi they always plan ahead so ukuze kuzokwaziwa ukuthi bazoplana for ama residents because singabi ne issue eyenzekile Pietermaritzburg we know ukuthi some of the students babelala egate due to ukuthi university allow more students bangasabhekisisa ama residents akhona ecampusini so siyacela kakhulu ukuthi kungenzeki liphutha elifana lelo this semester or next year sorry for this semester. And then okunye that I would like to add we want to thank SRC also for UKZN SRC bursary isize kakhulu ama students especially those aba unfunded and they ama postgrad and it's a proposal also ukuthi at least they should look especially imandaba yama postgraduate students ukuthi awana kakhulu so bengicela ukuthi proposal ukuthi at least kwi budget SRC uma bebhekisisa kubukakala ukuthi ayikho indlela ezokwenziwa for ama postgraduate at least kube khona i budget yabo for ama because we know ukuthi in rankings ibona abacontribute too much yabo siyacela sabo ingazibi indaba yabo ibhekisiswe lapho it's a proposal president and the SRC ezongena and siyacela ukuthi even the SRC ezongena ngoba si leadership units of NTM ibhekisise kuwo wonke lo maphatho ibhekisise wonke lokho. And then okunye that I would like to add laphayana let me check. Okay, so in sports we know ukuthi ngoba amayona angifuna ukuqamba mangala it's a pity we know ukuthi ngoba besho zawo la ukuthi impi even the laba bafana benzi kahle with abanayo support for example sibonile PMP kwenzala abantu bangena ama win seconnection no TikTok esehlekisa yabo it's funny but kwakubhlungu because ama students they lost their things there so besicela ukuthi I support yabo ibe khona especially ma sports because the ama sports is one of the most important things because abanye we know with some of them they going lapha kuma TV so besicela nje ukuthi I support at least ama bus ba increase especially makuzoba I team makuzodlala ibhola kakhulukazi. And then I would like to propose also ukuthi budgets, for example, the Club societies is not enough. It's 1.5. For example, the Club societies you can deposit for example 1,000, which is 500 throughout the semester. So it's 500. So how come we come up programs with 500 rands? So we try to practice in the Club societies to at least increase the budget. And then I think I have a few that left. I would just gonna state them. So we know and thank you. I would like to thank Futhi SRC for my libraries. They are open 24 hours, even Namalens. But now the only thing that is left is because in the Bama escorts, we know awagavumele wona. So we still abantu they must add in the 10 style. Some of them they are not open. Even the venue, some of them they are not open. So we still since it's 24 hours. So my students they are staying on commune since now. So it's a pepang. My students bangaladesh giving up and up. So we still yes, the escorts because very con. It's not something new. So any individual that I would like to propose in the Bayama cause of evaluation. So kunento lapha cause of evaluation we lecture isemester siphela we lecture ukuthi angazi ukuzala lapha because ngazi type
honorable members, can you please be behaved? Honorable members over there, can you please be well behaved, please?
Thank you again, Honorable Speaker. So ngithanda ukuthi ibhekiswe le nto leyo because some of the lectures they are not doing enough. So abavele bangabenza umathando wabo and then since the course evaluation sikhoma lapha ukuthi lecture this and this is not doing enough. And le nto leyana ngibona athi ayibuka because this very same lecture lophinde futhi libuye without any disciplinary hearing isiyenze ukuthi lenziwe lo lecture lo because ama students they commenta ngalo ukuthi alenzi kahle. Alikwazi lo unakuzana because at the end of the day we are paying the money. So makuthiwa asa nakuzama class report umsebenzi wawo if lecture selizenzela nje because we are no professor. And any into that I would like to propose in terms of ama degree collection ama degree, some of them we know ukuthi solanda la eWestville. So bengicela at least kuba nendlela ukuthi nama ivele distribute in Kabala ofunde khona because you know it's time consuming and it's expensive. For example, so Eastern Cape all the way here la enakuzaneni eWestville. And then what else? Okay, so bengithanda futhi ukuthi if it happens ukuthi you know ukuthi academic exclusion is there, so ngicela ukuthi ilo abantu abasebenzisa exclusion babatshene ukuthi student mawuso exclude batshene okay do this and this and this because some of the students bavela ba exclude bazonda le semester umuntu uhlala ekhaya kenza lutho and mase kubuye ukuthi adenzana ekhaya asenzi lutho. So that means virtual letter ayisekho. So siyacela nje ukuthi i-university should student exclude hambo i-rehabilitate phela hambo wenza something ekhaya because exclusion ukuthi hambo uhlala ekhaya but ukuthi ukwazi uku-rehabilitate ukuthi wenze something uzokubona ukuthi uzoba ready for another semester. That was all. I thank you.
Honorable members, that brings to close the debating session. I would like to register a journalist at the time, one of the founders of the Constitution of America. Upon leaving the Congress, one of the journalists outside asked that, Mr. President, is it a monarchy or a republic? And he said in response to that journalist, it is a republic if you can keep it. I want to say to all members of this House that the efficacy of this House is on your shoulders. If this House is able to carry out its constitutional duties to the fore and ultimately ensure that the interests of our constituents are met, it is all on your shoulders. If this House fails, it's not going to be the Speaker of Parliament who fails. It's not going to be the Secretary of Parliament who fails. It's not going to be the Deputy Speaker of Parliament who fails. It is going to be Parliament as a whole. And each and every one of us here are representatives of constituents. There's CSC, there are political clubs and societies, there are non-political clubs and societies. So if we fail, it's going to be a collective failure, honorable members. And in closing, I want to close with the quote by Charlotte Maxeke. If you remember the very first sitting of Parliament that we had, I opened with a quote by Charlotte Maxeke. She said, "This work is not for yourselves. Kill the spirit of self." I want to say that to you as well, honorable members, that this is not for personal gratification as an individual. It is for your constituents. It is for the students you left on your campus. It's all for their benefit. It is not for yourself or self-gratification as an individual. So let us always execute our constitutional duties with that in mind, that this is not for ourselves, but rather our constituents, the students. Thank you so much, honorable member. The House is adjourned. Dinner is ready outside. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Clubs and societies, JCC and CC remain behind shortly. I've got a note that says JCC, clubs and societies, as well as CCS, they must remain behind. That is the note.
Speaker.
Sekwadjourniwe sis.
Ngiyazi, ngifuna ukutshela ukuthi uJCC wethu akekho. Can the chief whip please take the message?
All right.
Yathanda ukuphoxa noma ngenasidingo speaker yini ngoba sini.
Can I be your JCC? Can I be? Can